Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance, a sip and discuss episode. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Jenni. Hi, Jenni.
Hey, Becky.
And Amanda. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
And Leah. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Becky.
So, Leah, are you on Sunday's episode? Are you coming to Sunday's episode?
No, I'm not coming to Sunday's episode.
Okay. Well, then, at the end of this episode, we will answer the question if we converted Leah to a rock star romance lover, liker, connoisseur, if she'll come back for more.
That's a pretty big jump.
From I don't read rock stars and I hate them to we'll see if we convinced her.
Okay, let's not put words in my mouth. I never said I don't read them and I hate them. I said I don't prefer to read them and I have a hard time liking them. That is very different than I don't and hate.
I feel like she said I hate them.
No, I never said that I hate them.
I feel
Are you sure? Dude, guys, I read a trad wife cheating book.
Well, and then you picked some raunchy crap off NetGalley this week.
Oh, did you get it?
No, I didn't actually get it.
Oh, okay.
I looked at it. And I was tempted, but I did not pull the trigger on that one.
Really?
I passed. Well, because I have 13,000 freaking documents on my Kindle that I have not gotten to yet. I do not have time for trad wife chaos.
I feel like this is some growth here. We might be witnessing some growth for Leah.
It was like trad wife thriller on top of it. So it was very like intriguing, but I do not have time for that.
Okay.
But also, like, I read that kind of crap now. Rock stars are like not even a blip on the radar.
Wouldn't it be funny to go back and listen to some of the early episodes where we're like, oh, the tropes we won't touch, like cheating, and Leah's over here like,
hard no. Cheating used to be a hard no.
Yeah, it's still a hard no for me, but I'm over the why choose. I'm all about that now. If it's paranormal,
I was gonna say,
writes it. I'm reading it.
I give you one little small assignment, and all of a sudden you're like, personality change. I'm in.
Yeah. And do you know how hard it's been for me to not read the new one that's out this week because I have so many other things to read?
And then I keep saying, hey, here's some more work for you. Would you like to read this?
Oh my gosh.
Well, and that's part of the thing. Like anytime we get any like fantasy stuff in our inbox, it was like, hey, Amanda, do you want this?
Well, those are actually like, other than the couple I had this week, they're fairly spaced out, but I did it to myself on the 20th. Like there's like 30 books releasing on the 20th. And I was like, oh, I can do these. I have time.
We are not talking about my NetGalley list right now. Although I will say I am caught up to next Tuesday. I have one more review to write. So everything that's due on the 6th has been read. The 13th, not so much. Anyway.
Yeah.
Not so much.
That's all going to be just back to the way it was once we go through books again.
There were 17 emails in my Gmail account today of, hey, we are seeing if you're interested in interviewing this author.
And I had 2.
And you had 2?
Yeah.
And we had a couple in the group.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guess what? More author spotlights coming your way here in the coming weeks. So on this episode, we are finishing up our Rocking April with rock stars, picked mostly at Amanda's leading.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly. I did kind of push for that one, but so far it's still my favorite of the month. So anyway, okay, so on this episode, we are reviewing Dirty Like Me by Jaine Diamond. Who wants to tell us all the things?
I can do it.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Release date, November 2nd, 2016. Tropes are rock star, fake relationship, close proximity, celebrity norm, opposites attract. The name of the series is Dirty. This is book 1. It's a series of interconnected standalones. It's dual first person. Put out percentage is 58%. The audio narrators, if you did the audiobook, are Ava Erickson and Rob Granis. I guess how you say that.
Mm.
And it's available in Kindle Unlimited, and the audio is Audible exclusive.
I didn't realize this book was almost 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
ages actually pretty well.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
I would have put this as a 2019, 2020 release. Because
Yeah,
it didn't
same.
feel aged.
Yeah, I
or
was
out of touch.
surprised that it was this old.
I read it when it like first came out, so I think that kind of skewed my view. But
Yeah. But do
I
you,
read it last year, and I think I was like, oh, this is good for aging anyway.
yeah, I mean, I don't feel like there were any big blips where like societally that wouldn't be okay now. I don't feel like there was anything off the mark with technology. Not that technology
and there
really has
weren't a lot
changed
of-
a ton from 2016 to now.
Not really, but there wasn't a lot of like pop culture references either, because
No.
you figure 2016 to now there has been a lot of change, but
Yeah.
there wasn't really even any of that, which it was nice for that.
Which is really interesting because there was a conversation started over on TikTok this last weekend about pop culture and pop culture references within your books and how it can take you right out. And I think it's really in reference to the whole Abby Jimenez mentioning Akatar in her book,
Mhm.
in her new
Oh.
release, is where I think it really comes out. But I think that rock stars is an easy category to use a lot of pop culture in.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because,
Well, but-
music does kind of define a time period.
But I have noticed that in the books that we have read, they talk about like the classics of
Yeah.
rock, like the Dylans, the Who, like the old school rock. And it's like, and I mean, it was still old school for us, a lot of
Right.
that.
right.
Like,
Yeah, 'cause
so
I think it
it's
was-
not like they're talking about like 80s 90s rock as like their inspirations, like they're still going like the 60s and 70s rock bands are the inspiration. It's like the classic
Yeah.
rock,
Yeah.
which somebody told me today that the 80s music is now considered classic,
Yeah.
and I thought
Yeah.
I was
It is.
going to
I
like
actually think
vomit.
90s grunge is now considered classic.
Mhm.
It is.
I don't like that at all.
We talked
No.
about retro.
I know we have talked about it, but I still like to think that I am not that old. But yeah, so I think that's part of it is like when you're talking music, like people who play in like they play out and things like that, like they really look at like old school music and like things like that.
Yeah, which is kind of good because that
Yeah.
instead of it defines a genre versus a generation kind of situation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like if this book had been filled with early 2000s rock or even the rock
Yeah.
of 2010 to 2016, I mean, I was listening to a lot of Broadway in that time period. So I don't know, but I do feel like it probably would have been jarring, because that
Yeah.
was like the upswing of One Direction and like the pop music was much heavier in that time period versus the rock.
Well, and like rock and like early 2000s was a lot of like scream rock. It was like Rage, not necessarily
I was
Rage,
gonna
but
say
like
Rage is like
System of a
95.
Down and like those
Yeah.
types of bands.
Yeah.
It was more screaming.
Well, they do mention they're at the club, and they mention the Killers, which was a big band around that time period. But I
Yeah.
don't think I think that's really one of the only like current ones that they mention in this book, and I don't
Yeah.
think that like that's an issue because that's a song they still play if you go.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
because
Yeah.
that's
So,
I was
yeah.
like, there's a couple songs that they mentioned, but yeah, all of
Yeah.
them are still
Yeah, I just
in
thought it was
rotation.
Mm-hmm. interesting because when I saw the age, I was like, well, this ages really well. And again, I think you're right. I think it's the classical music, classical rock mentioned
Yeah.
versus current rock. And the Killers didn't even ping for me because again, I consider them part of the current or
Yeah.
of that classic, like they've been around long enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and even their band Dirty is like 10 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting, especially it felt relevant to the kind of the things because, of
Yeah.
course, there were comments on my post that I made over on TikTok about like Taylor Swift references. And I was like, yeah, I know. I know. Okay, so the plot overview of this is average girl Katie Bloom is cast on a whim in a rock music video by megastar Jessie Mays. The video goes viral, chemistry explodes. I want to say, so we say this is fake dating, and it is fake dating, but I like that it wasn't a crisis that
Yeah.
was the catalyst to make them fake dating. It was more
Yeah, 'cause
his
often it's the
desperation for
PR,
success.
like, yeah, a lot of times when we see the fake dating, it's like to clean up an image or there's like a PR thing going on. Like this was basically to boost sales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the video went so good, and he felt like it also, I think, leads into that rock star superstition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Katie's hired to be Jesse's fake girlfriend on tour to generate buzz and to help sell the albums. So I felt like this was two different books. Like the first 50%, it was really hooky, and I was invested, and I was in, and I really like the characters. Once they started having sex, they never stopped having sex.
It did not.
Like,
It's a lot.
They did not.
People take a
I was not mad
shower,
about
drink
it.
some Gatorade, and a nap.
Well, and then like they don't talk about any of their issues until like 70,
That's the thing, like
75%.
there's like the start of the story, then a lot of sex, and then conversation starts to happen, and then they break up.
I mean, I did like that there was a third act breakup. I felt like
Well, yeah, I mean, and there's a reason. I mean, she finds she can't handle the pressure,
It's a
especially when they
lot,
start going
yeah.
after her family. I mean, so yeah, I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know. I felt like that was a good reason too. Like, I didn't feel like it was just like a miscommunication situation, even though they didn't
Yeah.
really talk until 70% in, she had a valid, when her family gets thrown in the tabloids and,
Yeah.
and all of that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't feel like it just happened to happen.
yeah.
Yeah, and
No,
he didn't
I
give her any reason to stay either. Like he just kind of froze up and like,
Yeah.
Well, and like when she was upset about that stuff, he didn't really like, he just kind of placated it, and it's like you get used to it. Like he didn't really empathize with her because he is so desensitized to it. And so like that was a big part of it too. Like she was freaking out and wanted like some sympathy for the freak out and the fact that she's thrown into this world that she doesn't understand. And he's like, you'll be fine. And she's
Right.
like, yeah, I can't do this. I gotta go.
I feel like that, though, one of the things I'm going to say is I don't feel like he was our stereotypical rock star.
right?
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
has less problems than she does.
Yeah.
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 That being said, I felt like his response was like, I'm cool with it. You should be cool with it. Like, things are just cool. And that just felt like a typical dude response. Like,
Yes.
It was.
I don't know what you're getting worked up about. I think it's cool. It's like, we're not the
It's not
same.
cool,
We're
dude.
just not the same, dude.
I mean, and technically, if we want to be technical, like they're not really together
They're not.
They're not
Yep.
really together.
at that
This is
point. Like
true.
it's still like the fake. So,
Well, they
she's
both
like,
have the feelings, but
Yes.
nobody's talking about them.
yeah,
They did have a little bit of the yearning there for each
Yeah.
other without the words. Like, and even that initial rock star video in the beginning, it's hot. You
Yeah.
feel the chemistry between these two. And I did expect them to be bunnies in their enjoyment, but I did expect a little bit more story during the bunny time.
Yeah.
Trying not to say the F word in the first like 15 minutes.
Well, but when you get through the book, like they are banging a lot, and we get that. But then like they talk about how they talked about, like they had conversation, but we didn't get that
Yeah.
conversation.
No.
So it's like one of those things where like conversation and during the bunny times was happening, but we did not get
Page.
insight into that.
Yeah, like even at the end, we get like from his point of view a bunch of things he likes about Katie, and I'm like, we didn't see
But
any
how do you
of
know those things? Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So one of the things that I want to bring up that I felt was kind of odd. So Katie's supposed to be just ordinary girl next door. which I really do. I like that in our rock star romances. That's why I liked it with Violet. That's why I liked it. What was the first one we read?
Idol.
Idol. That's what I liked about that. Like that ordinary girl next door, easy breezy kind of moments. I like that. But every man in this book was in some kind of Katie gaze with her.
Oh yeah.
Like everyone thought she was hot. And all I kept thinking about is like the girl from Twilight. How everybody's just
No.
endlessly attracted to her. And what am I missing? Because
It's
nobody
the cherry smell.
Yep.
it's nobody's walking around in love with me and just, I'm just an ordinary girl next door.
But that's the fantasy, right? It's like the hot girl next door,
Yeah.
right?
But she's just so beautiful. She doesn't have a boyfriend, although, she has her past.
Yeah.
But every guy she meets in this book thinks she's hot. Like from the beginning. Don't
Good
you
for
want to
her.
be the unexpected hot girl every time you walk into a room?
No,
Oh,
No.
because then
I mean,
people would pay attention to me.
right.
I mean, I think
Like,
we've
I don't
kinda-
want to talk to you.
I think we've kind of gotten that with almost maybe like all of them, really, like a little bit, like that, like that, the whole band is like, oh wow, she's like
Yeah, they
super
kind of have
attractive,
been.
I think if you really, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, they were all like a little bit like that,
Yeah.
maybe not Rockstar as much. I think that one's probably the one that was the least amount that way. But even in Idol, when like everybody meets her, they're like, oh, she's really attractive. And then of
Uh-huh.
course, and Lilac, they're all
Everybody wants
over
her.
her, even they hate her. And then last week,
Yeah.
they
And
were
I
all
think
like enamored.
the only reason it's not with Rockstar is he's not really with the band
Yeah.
when he's with
when they're
Violet.
together.
When he's with Violet.
It's like a side entity.
Yeah, they're kind of, post.
Hiding.
Yeah, hiding.
Stacy said I gotta get cherry vanilla lotions.
That's
Maybe
everybody's.
that's the key, the
Yeah.
lotion. It's
Cherry
like a
pie.
pheromone on of itself.
So, but yeah, that was just
It's all
like,
the cherries she ate, like the nourishing
Well,
cherries.
in her
Right.
internal monologue, though, it's not about cherries. Her internal monologue is just always like, I'm so average. I'm just so me. And it did feel like we had a little bit of disconnect there.
Hmm. Yeah, because like her best friend, like, and even like her sister, like the little bits that we got
Yeah.
with from her, like they never treated her like she was just an average person. Like they talk about like how pretty she is and like things like that, and not in like a shallow way. Like
Yeah.
they were like,
Right,
you're a
like-
dumbass. Like you're a
Yeah, like
gorgeous
she's
girl.
unaware.
Yeah.
Because I even thought that about like her ex, like he's apparently this guy from money, like,
Uh-huh.
but she doesn't have anything and she's gonna be an artist. And I'm like,
Yeah, she's gotta be hot.
like, yeah.
Yeah. She's gotta be hot. Anyway, the next time we like go to a book signing, everybody's gonna smell like cherry vanilla lotion to get the hot book guys, I guess. I don't know.
Because there's so many.
It's not like we're not all married either.
I mean, there's single ones within our group. Okay, let's talk about Mr. Jesse Mays. I loved him.
Yep,
He is he is shameless in his cockiness and in his flirting. And he's really not a bad guy. Like he reminded me a
No.
lot of Dax from Rockstar. Like just that
Yeah.
really good guy. This is what he does. He's cool with what he does. Like he wasn't
Yeah,
an
I think
ass.
so.
Well, and the thing with him though, like he was like his ego was the same from start to finish, but like emotionally, like he did have growth. Like
Yeah.
by the end of the book, like he was still like that ego driven guy, but like he understood better like where she was coming from.
I think I would have loved it more if we had had just a little bit more emotional arc from him.
Yeah.
Didn't
Well,
you?
I think if we had a little bit more point of view from him too, because it's very Katie heavy.
Yes, I agree. Because there was a couple times like this was a reread for me, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah." Like
Like if
it's-
she had switched the point of view, I like in a couple of the chapters, I think it would have been a more emotionally driven like flow than what we got.
Yeah, because it was like 3 to 1. Like she would have like 3 chapters.
Well, because honestly, when I was reading at one point, I was like, and her chapters are kind of long too. But
Yeah,
so as I was reading, it's like, are we ever going to get back to him?
right.
Because
Yeah.
like I had already read some of him, so I knew, like, I was hoping it wasn't just a dirty
Well,
tease.
yeah, I think that was like especially true like after the bunniness, like and like
Yes.
we don't get like she is to the point where she is in love and we're
Mhm.
like, how's
Yeah.
he feeling?
Yeah, because when she leaves, like it's a long time before we get back to his point of view. And I think that that is like where it kind of faltered a little bit. I mean, not just the bunny section, but like after that, like, because I think it, like, had we got the way, like what he was doing while she was gone too, because when they come back together, like you find out, like she went to see his sister in L, but then like he also went to see her sister. It's like, I really wanted to see that
Oh, yeah.
conversation.
I just feel like there were some missed opportunities for us
Mhm.
to see some emotion, to have those emotional arcs, grounding moments. Does that make sense? I just
Yeah.
wanted some more moments of grounding. And the author's pacing in this book for me, I felt like it went like a car that was running out of gas. Like it would like it was fast and then it sputtered along and then it was
Mhm.
fast and then we stalled on the bunny section
Yeah, it definitely didn't
and then it was
have the
fast.
flow that I
Someone
was
got some
looking
bad gas. That's all I'm saying. You know, like when you get bad gas in
Yeah,
your car and
but but in a car.
it sputtered a little bit and that was just like I liked the story. I was hooked. This book was addictive. Those opening scenes, they pull you in. You're in
Mhm.
this book really easily, which is probably why it is still being read and still talked about in 2000 from 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But
Right. And like as the series goes on, it gets like messy and
Oh,
it's
it
just
gets heavy,
it's
like
so
real fast.
it's so like you're like, oh,
Yeah,
can't
and
look away, train wreck type of
I
stuff.
almost wonder if she left this one lighter and less emotional because like when you get to 2, from 2 on, it is like just a punch to the face, like with emotion and messiness, and like you get into the heavy addiction, like the hard stories like immediately after this one.
Because there's
Hmm.
like their wedding book that like you get like
Oh yeah.
multiple points of view. So like you kind of like check in with different people and you're like, oh man.
Yeah.
so I wonder what is the reason for that to go so messy because it's interesting because if we look at Kylie Scott's her books, so she has her first book, Lick, that one's definitely lighter, right? But then as
Mhm.
you get more into those, they get heavier
Well,
and
I wonder
deal
if
with
it's because
the
it's like
emotional complications of fandom and fame and
but it's a really good way to introduce like a band without like throwing you into the deep end. Because like we
Yeah.
met all of the characters except for one,
yeah.
like who have books, I think. Except maybe the last book, because I was trolling the series page. But like I think that is one thing with like because they're not the only authors that do that. Like you start out like with that like
I guess
basic
kind of
introduction
Kristen
book, but
Callahan kind of does that too a little bit with
Mhm.
her
Yeah.
VIP
Yeah.
series.
Yeah,
I think
so it's
hers
like
were
you
pretty
give it
balanced,
like a
you know.
soft landing to meet everybody, and then you really dive into the chaos.
Yeah.
Maybe it's so you're not like, oh man, these people are like messed up
Messed
and
up.
That's true.
Versus like the Britt Benson book though, I mean, her Rockstar books are messy and dark from book 1.
Aren't all of her books messy? Like that's like
yeah.
her brand.
Yeah, her brand
Yeah.
is a little
Yeah.
bit messy, a little more emotional. Yeah, I just the pacing, like she hooks you
Mhm.
in, it just I struggled a little
It's
bit
not
with the pacing.
consistent throughout the book.
And I would have rather had instead of like, that 35% in the middle being all the sex all the time. I would have liked it if they'd done it a little bit sooner, sprinkled in more conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it's because at the end we get short little snippets, and and like you said, we didn't know this as the
Yeah, we
reader.
didn't get that conversation.
How did we miss this? Okay, so what else did we love about this book? I thought the rock star moments were pretty good, like the on-stage engagement and actions.
Yeah, I liked the rock star moments, like the tour moments. Like I feel like you got immersed in kind of like the rock star life with her being on tour with him.
Yeah, and none of the books previous did they really go on tour? Did we have the bus tour scenes or
Mm-hmm.
Well,
moments?
you did in the last one, the Britt Benson, they were on tour, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and they were in Lilac too, but that's that's different.
I just felt like this one had it the most, and it felt well done.
Yeah.
It made sense. It worked. You got
Yeah,
that
like
close.
they're on the bus. Like they let him drive the bus. I was like,
Yeah, that one I didn't understand, but hey, he's a rock star. He can do whatever he wants,
yeah,
apparently.
I'm like,
I mean, that's
Yeah.
not the insurance check I want to write, but sure.
right?
Sure.
I mean, I personally would not feel comfortable driving one of those things unless it was
No.
like a straightaway with no curves at all. Like all I had to do was keep it straight because those things are long.
I would not be driving it through the toll roads of Pennsylvania, is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think I would fit. They fit. Those buses do fit, and you can get 2 cars like on those roads, but the toll roads of Pennsylvania are terrifying in an SUV. I could not do it in a bus.
No.
It's tight quarters, and it's always under construction.
I do feel like we got a really good amount of music, like inspiration, his lyricism. I feel like we did get a good balance of that in this one.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was kind of like neat that he doesn't write the lyrics. Like he writes the music.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
his sister and
Zane.
Brody, Zane. Okay.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brody's the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, does Brody have a book?
He's book
It's
2.
Him and
Yep.
the sister.
Oh, him and the sister. Okay. I didn't go looking for that. He's a character.
And you get more of
Yes.
you get more of Jesse's backstory with his sister's book, so you get a little more into like how they had it growing up and that kind of thing in his sister's book. So I wonder if she just kind of held back a little on him in this book because she knew she was going to go hard in the next one.
In the next one. I might have to read that. I will say this book read so fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was easy. It was fast. And it was steamy. I mean, so if you're looking for fast, easy, and steamy, like, a drunk date on a Friday night, read this book. Is what I'm telling you.
I mean, that's fair. I was
Yeah.
definitely like, yep, they're in their 20s. Like, good for them.
Yeah.
Because honestly, none of us are having that much sex in our 50s or 40s.
Our 50s quite yet. Not quite.
I have 1 year. I have
You said
1
Not
year.
even in my 40s, technically.
Shut up, Jenny. I'm going to let Ollie share your bed this next time.
Aw, man.
You're in with Ollie now. I had
He'll
something.
be the big spoon.
He would be the big spoon.
He'd be warm at least because he's like a furnace.
My notes on this are: I needed more romance and less endless horniness. That is what I wrote.
Sounds about
Depends
right.
on what you're in the mood for.
This is true.
Because I'm like, what am I going to talk about? A lot of the book, they were just horny.
Well, like, and he tells her, like, she's like, we need to have a story, like, how'd this happen? Like, how'd we
Yeah.
get together? And he's like, I sent you a dick pic.
Well, and then he sends her the dick pic and is like, now you're not lying. I did like when like they do get back together, he like found that studio space for her because she's an artist and a painter. And I thought that was really something because like she's had a really hard time finishing work. And I mean, anybody who does that kind of thing has been there before. And I thought that was a really like nice of him, like
Yeah.
that he like went and like basically like found all of her unfinished paintings and put them all in one place for her. And like her art was like something throughout the book too. Like she had like at like when they first went on tour, she was sketching a lot, and he was like real angry that like she was sketching other people because he had
Oh yeah.
a jealous streak. But then like there was like right before the third act breakup, like she even says like I'm not sketching. So like emotionally, physically, like she's not like connecting with a lot of stuff. So like her art was like a big part of like her mental health. And I
Yeah.
thought that was an interesting aspect to it.
I do have to laugh at the dick shock.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, okay.
It's starstruck or dickstruck, right?
Dick struck, yeah.
Dick struck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, never thought about it. Stacy says in the YouTube comments, the mafia reader in her wanted some comeuppance for Josh, and Josh is the ex.
I feel like he got a little bit when, when basically he's trying to hit on her and Jesse comes in
But
and
he's-
he's like, oh no, she's with me. Like
But he does sell that picture, so
yeah, he does.
he needs
He's
a good like
that's
junk
true.
punch.
Yeah. Jerk. Is there anything else about this book that we should talk about?
I can't think of anything.
I liked his grandma in the club, Grandma Dolly in the
Dolly.
club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that was fun. Like especially I like that whole scene where they're in the club and he brings her in for the first time and introduces her to everybody, and you get like, you get a little glimpse of everybody in the band and like his
Mhm.
family, and I thought that was a good scene.
Yeah. I will say for a rockstar romance, there wasn't a ton of angst.
No.
And what
No.
was
No, it's
there, I think, worked and made
Yeah.
sense. Like the interaction with Josh and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there wasn't a ton of like, I mean, they drink a little bit in this, but you're not getting like the addiction side of it either,
No.
which, like I said, she gets way heavy
Yeah,
into that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think it's interesting for it to be a band series. He's on a solo album
Yeah.
tour,
Yeah, I think it helps her break the books up because of the way she like spaces them out on who gets the books. And I think it helped her like not make this first one so messy. It's because they've been together for 10 years and he's taking
Mhm.
time away to do his own thing and Elle has taken time away to do her own thing. So I think it was different, but I thought it worked that way.
Well, and it was one
Yeah.
of those ones too where like the band actually still gets along.
Yeah.
Like they have some like issues here and there, but it's like they've been together this long. They still like each other. They still talk. They still have like they still get along and have good conversation. Like they hang out. Like the bandmates come and like hang out like on tour and at the different places, and that's how she meets everybody. So I thought that was a nice part of it because in the last two books, like they hated each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Does Elle get a book? I didn't go after this, but I didn't go looking at the rest of the
Yes, she
series.
does.
She does.
Yeah,
have a
and
book.
I think the band is kind of like what holds the books together. It's not really the centerpiece because like the
Mhm.
next book is Jessa and Brody, and like they're not in the band, but
Right.
Connected.
that's what
Yeah.
that's what connects them.
Yeah. Which I liked that this felt like an individual book. Sometimes when you go into a rockstar romance, and I think that's what worked in Idol too when we read it, is that their meeting happens away from the main
Yeah.
stage of the band. So as a book one in a series, we're not so inundated with a bunch of people that we have to try to keep track of and figure out
Yeah.
who's who and how they're going to play into the dynamic of the band and of the relationship. So by making this like a solo tour, we do get to meet Jess and, kind of figure out where people play and how things work within their dynamic.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't feel crowded.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else before we go to thumbs up, thumbs down? Nope. Okay. So Jenni, thumbs up or thumbs down on Dirty Like Me by Jaine Diamond?
Thumbs up. Like I kind of thought of it as like a easy, I don't not mac and cheese, but
It's not. It's a
Not
little
quite mac and
spicier than
cheese.
mac and
But
cheese.
like
yeah.
we need to have like a light, like a tier of mac and cheese things.
Is this like
It's like a
mac and
pepper
cheese with
jack.
pepper jack?
Spicy ramen.
Spicy ramen read.
There you go.
There you go. Leah, thumbs up or thumbs down for you?
Mine's a thumbs up. Like there were some things I didn't like about the book, but I did enjoy the story overall.
Yeah. Amanda, thumbs up, thumbs down on Dirty Like Me?
It's a thumbs up. And like I said, I read it last year and I don't know, it was really fast paced. I like their chemistry. I think this is a very low stakes entry into a rock star romance
Mhm.
if you're not generally a fan of those. But I don't know. I realize that there are like a little bit of pacing issues or whatever, but I think there's just this like it's just a really well done rock star romance for me.
Yeah.
So.
And to be honest, it's a thumbs up for me. I really liked it. I struggled a little bit with the amount of sexy times just because I wanted some more emotion.
Mhm.
And honestly, I go into Rockstar wanting the angst and the messiness, and so I am intrigued now to go on and read the other books, knowing that it gets messier. Because if they were all light and easy like this, I worried I would get a little like bored.
Bored,
I
right.
need the
Yeah.
trauma to maybe you could mellow out some of the sexy time with some trauma. I don't know.
Yeah, there's
it
lots of
definitely,
trauma.
yeah, it definitely
Oh,
comes
you're
to the other
sexy with your
books. Yeah.
trauma.
I'm just saying,
mean,
it's just an idea.
Some of them try pretty dang hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people liked this, we've given a lot of books over the course of the last 4 episodes, and this upcoming Sunday episode is going to be an encore of Rock Stars, meaning all the books that we didn't talk about, we're going to talk about on Sunday. But is there anything in particular before we go on that you think if people really liked this book, they should check out?
I
have
one. Oh, sorry.
I have
Go ahead.
2.
Go for
I have Poor Judgment by Heather Orgeron. It's like a band series. This is book 1 of that series. Now, like they aren't that has similar vibes to it. And then also The Mighty Storm by Samantha Towle or Toll. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but the series is The Storm, like that's the rock band. I haven't read this one specifically, but I have read other ones by her, and so her writing style like would work well, similar
Yeah,
to this.
hers like slowly ramp up to messy as well.
Yeah, like the couple books that I've read, like the series, like usually book 1 is like okay, like there's a little mess to it, but it's not so bad. But she definitely like adds in the chaos as the series goes on. But I do like her writing style too.
Yeah.
I would agree.
What about you, Amanda? You got any?
I went out of Rockstar and kind of went with if you like Jesse and Katie's chemistry that I think you would
Mhm.
love Wild Island Love by Melissa Foster, which is
Oh,
Duncan
yeah.
and Lenny. So that's a
Sorry.
fake relationship. He's actually an actor, not a rock star, but they go out on a first date and the paparazzi like see them. She's a PR person for his PR firm, but they have like explosive chemistry, I think, like the same way.
Mhm.
And then they end up kind of it's not fake dating to reclaim his PR image, but it's more because kind of like the same, like he has a movie coming out, the paparazzi see them on a date already, and so they kind of play into it for the movie. But I like Jesse and Katie kind of remind me of Duncan and Lenny. So
Yeah.
Well, and Duncan has that ego too.
yeah, same. Yeah.
So outside of Rockstar, If You Need Me by Helena Hunting, this is book 3 in her Toronto Terror series. It's a fake relationship, and actually she's the one that kind of needs him. He's the hockey player, but she works for the head office, and he messes up. but she needs him because he announces that they're fake dating or he announces they're dating when they're not. And he has a big mouth, and he's the messy one that's not quite fully with it. The other book that's not Rockstar that I thought about was Fake by Kylie Scott, which is Hollywood norm. It would work really well if you liked this book and you want off the charts chemistry, that yearning doesn't quite fit into his world. That's another really good one. And then the other one I thought about was Hearts in Winter by Carrie Elks, and that's a second chance. And nobody's really famous, but it deals with fake dating because he's trying to get like a big sponsorship grant so he can go back and do his medical clinics outside of the US. So those were.
I like that one. I've read that one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. They're still married, but didn't know they were still married because her dad screwed up his dad screwed up the divorce papers. So
On purpose?
yes. Yes.
Nope.
That's a perfect example. So his dad in Winterville, which I still don't understand why you people are not reading Winterville, but
I've read a couple
Yeah,
of Winterville.
yeah,
I
I've
haven't read
read-
them in order.
I haven't.
yeah, we might have to change that when we come back in the fall. But the older couple, his dad, who's the town mechanic, and then there's
Yeah.
the lady that owns the coffee shop in town. You know that they are in love with each other, and I desperately would love them to have a book. Like at the end of the very last one, you find out that they are dating each other in their own kind of, but neither wants to give up their homes or their life or anything.
Independence, yeah.
But you just know that there is a love story there between these two, and they're a hoot, because who doesn't love a meddling, coffee shop baker and a mechanic? Like,
This is true.
it screams read now, right? Okay. So that's a wrap on this. Jenni, did you have any books? Did I ask you? No. You'll have all the rock stars on Sunday, though, right?
Yes, I will.
Somebody better have some rock stars on Sunday.
I
Which
have
is
a
why
whole
I am
list
not
already.
going
I'm gonna have I have a TBR like of stuff I didn't get to read that
Yeah,
I wanted to
same.
read. So
So before I do our outro here, Leah, let's ask the big question. Did we make a rock star fan of you with these picks this time? Except Lilac. We are not talking about that book because that was freaking wrong.
I mean, I would read more, yes. But again, I really read anything anymore. But no,
the
even if
longer
I
you're a
hadn't
part
been
of this,
like,
the less you have taste, is what you're saying.
I mean, I still have taste. Those books were bananas, and they weren't great, but I couldn't stop reading them. No, I enjoyed most of these. Like they are. The problem is like older rock star books that I've read. It was like everything I hate about like romance and
But I
rock
think we
stars
did
in
see
general.
those. Like we look at
Yeah.
Lilac, it was so stereotypical
Yes.
and nobody came
Like
out.
had I read that and not the other ones, then no, I would not pick up another rock star book.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And then did anybody have a favorite that we read over the last 5 weeks?
I think mine was definitely just the VIP series in general. So I would say Idol. Like I liked all of them, other than Lilac and pretty much. I mean, last week was probably like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Last
say
week's
that
was
one was
kinda
in my
rough,
top, but the other three, like
Yeah.
Idol, Rockstar, and this one, like I like all of those. But I think Idol, just because I binged that whole VIP series.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. Jenni, did you have a favorite?
Well, two of them were rereads for me, so not really. Like, I really enjoy rock stars.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just because music's a big part of my life. So
Yeah.
Mm.
Stacy says Idol was her favorite of the 5. Leah, did you have a favorite?
I think Idol was my favorite just because like it was just a little messy and I like messy. Not that like Rockstar was very good and I really enjoyed that story, but there's just something about Idol and like the way in which the story played out I liked better.
Yeah.
Um this one I enjoyed. I did not like Lilac at all, as we all know. And of Heartbreak
Jump
and
that
Harmony,
ship.
I think it was not Britt Benson's best book, and so I think it was just the book. Not that I would not read her again. I just didn't like that one as much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and my favorite, I love Idol. That Kristen Callahan's series is OG, like top tier
Yeah, but
rock
you also
star.
love Lauren Rowe too.
I'm just gonna say it though, rock star. Dax is my forever dude. Like
Mhm.
I love him forever. So anyway,
She's writing a new series.
I know. I know. But I think
I
this
was
is her
doom
new series
scrolling.
that is going to be published for TradPub.
Yeah, I was doom
So.
scrolling on the TikTok today, and she had a TikTok about it.
So anyway, but if it's Lauren Rowe, I'm gonna read it. We all know that. Like you're not
Me
gonna
too.
have to twist my arm
That's
on
fair.
that. So that's a wrap on this episode. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into Dirty Like Me by Jaine Diamond. So special announcement. This is when I wish we had sound effects, like maybe confetti, like boo or something. I don't know.
Make
We
the
need
balloons
like
go off. How do you do it?
yeah, like
How's
the
it done?
balloons.
Like
I think
Becky
he
five.
has
Is
to
it-
do it.
Yeah.
I think he turned off our reactions. Anyway,
Oh,
starting tomorrow, we are kicking off
Tomorrow.
a huge spring giveaway to celebrate some of our favorite releases and authors. So make sure you are following Buzzing About Romance on Instagram. We are giving away 8 paperbacks to one lucky winner. Now, if you are not on Instagram, because, meta, you can there will be an option for you to enter via our newsletter on Sunday. So make sure you read and open our newsletter on Sunday that Leah sends out so that you can have a chance to win. If you are not on Instagram, it can also be an extra entry. So wait till you hear this list of authors that are participating in this giveaway, because we kind of outdid ourselves a little bit, friends.
We did.
Sawyer Bennett is one of our authors in this giveaway. Author Lainey Davis, author Kendall Hale, author Piper Rain, Danica Flynn, Carrie Elks, Carrie Ann Ryan, and Aaron Nicholas. Each one of them has put a signed paperback and swag up for grab in this spring giveaway. So, and I think the majority of it is everybody's latest release, except Aaron Nicholas is going to do book 1 in her Royal series, so her Reluctantly Royal series, because she's getting ready to kick off a spin-off series from that. So
Yeah, it's everybody's newest release because I was like going through the books
yeah.
yeah.
So you could get a signed copy of Piper Rain. It's Mr. Charming, I think, was the last book.
yeah.
Like, and those covers are cute. Same with Lainey's. Also, speaking of Lainey, I got a sneak peek of her new cover for book 2. You guys, it's so good. Anyway, so that giveaway is starting tomorrow over on Instagram. Open up our newsletter for your chance to win on Sunday, or for an extra entry. We will be back on Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the YouTube, where we will be sharing more Rockstar Recs, why we love them, and if we already know Leah is going to read more Rockstars, so we'll just build Leah a Rockstar TBR on Sunday night and give it to her and tell her she has
Because
to
I
read them
follow
all.
a TPR.
Right. So many lies. Next week, we're diving into our May TBR, our May Sip and Discuss TBR, with all things messy weddings and brides. So many brides that are just messy.
It's all the jilted bride.
Well, except this first one. She's not jilted.
I thought she was jilted
I don't
too.
think she is.
I
The
thought we were
first
doing
one.
jilted for everything, but maybe I was wrong.
Well, I think it's a second chance. But it's her mother's wedding, remember?
Oh, that's right.
So the first one on the list is The Secret to a Southern Wedding by Cynthia Williams. And in that book, it's her mother getting married, and she has to go back to her hometown to help her mother with the wedding.
And it is trad, but it is very prevalent in the library system.
Yeah,
'Cause
library
even my
system.
library had it, and my library has nothing.
The audio is on Hoopla. I think the ebook is in Hoopla. But there was, I don't know, Amanda posted it a couple weeks ago in the Discord that it was $1.99.
Yeah, that's when I grabbed it.
And that cover is so gorgeous. I was like,
It is really
one
pretty.
click, I had to have
That whole
it.
series, those covers are beautiful.
I did not one click at that time,
You
and then I had buyer's
never.
remorse,
Yeah.
which I
So
usually
then
always
she's got like a
do.
$12.99 ebook.
That's
Like,
why I
I'm
was
pretty
happy
sure
it
we
was in
had
the
this
library.
conversation like
We did
last
have this
week.
conversation
We did.
because I was an idiot and I did not do the $1.99.
It's okay.
But don't you worry, I have the ebook and the audiobook currently on my phone.
I'm super excited. I've never read Cynthia Williams before. These covers are
I
gorgeous.
haven't either.
And I'm super excited to dive in. And it
Yeah.
sounds like messy familyness, which, come on, guys. We know I'm here for that right now.
That's our bag.
It's totally our bag. So, until next time, everyone.
Happy reading, everybody.
Find us on Instagram at Buzzing About Romance or on Twitter at Buzzing Romance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.